he's somebody who is extremely conservative economically. He believes very passionately in the market. He believes in democracy. He grew up in Guayaquil on the coast and came out of poverty and joined the Bank of Guayaquil and became extremely successful and had a very impressive mobility. And in the last decade or so, he's decided to turn himself to politics. He's been a very ardent critic of Rafael Correa, who governed the country for 14 years, and certainly has a very ideological position, but also is a pragmatist. And now will have a very, very tough job on his hands. And I think he overcame the deficit because Rafael Correa is extremely unpopular in Ecuador, and Andrés Arauz, who was the candidate, was inextricably tied to Correa, and Lasso succeeded in taking advantage of that. And he also ran a good campaign and reached out to millennials and other sectors who didn't know much about him, and they found him appealing, and so he got some of their vote as well. But it certainly was a big surprise to most analysts, I think.
So then, as we look at the voting base, talk about the makeup of the Ecuadorian economy and the key industries and issues that really mattered to them.
Well, Ecuador is essentially is a main oil producer. It's a member of OPEC, and roughly 40% of its national income comes from oil. But they also have other sectors as well. Agricultural sector, very big in exporting flowers and the like, is an important source of their economy. But the oil is extremely important, and the country is really in dire straits economically. It declined by almost 8% in 2020, and this year it's supposed to grow only a little above 3%. So it really is in a deep crisis, as it has an agreement with the International Monetary Fund of some $6 billion that was negotiated under the previous government of Lenin Moreno. It's in debt to China significantly as well. It's had a strong relationship with China. And so these are huge challenges. And of course, the pandemic has exacerbated everything. And I think Lasso will have to overcome some of the divisions that were exposed during the campaign and try to bring the country together to confront some of these very profound problems.
Now, another country, Peru, also voted over the weekend, and that election is heading for a runoff with the left candidate Pedro Castillo leading. Tell us more about the frontrunners and what they're promising voters.
Well, Pedro Castillo is somebody who really started to emerge just in the last couple of weeks. He wasn't even a serious contender a month ago. He didn't appear in the polls. And Peru is a country that is full of surprises. We saw that most dramatically in 1990 when Alberto Fujimori became president. And it's a country in where people are desperate. And there's enormous uncertainty. Pandemic has been devastating for Peruvians. And there's tremendous anger towards the traditional political class. Castillo took advantage of that situation. He's a teacher. He's a union leader. He's somebody of the left, believes very much in the state's role in the economy, rejects the current constitution of 1993, and also had a kind of a folkloric appeal as well. Wore a hat, rode a horse, and he touched a lot of Peruvians. So he was the winner. It looks like Keiko Fujimori will be his opponent in the second round. She, of course, is the daughter of former President Alberto Fujimori, who's now serving a time in prison for human rights and corruption charges. She is somebody who couldn't be more ideologically different than Castillo. She believes in the market and market economy, and of course the current constitution, which came into effect under the rule of her father. So we have really very polar opposites. It looks like she's going to hold on, and the second round, I think, should be very interesting, highly uncertain. My own sense is that either of the two contenders could pull off a victory in June.
Well, certainly you'll be watching closely. Thank you so much. Michael Shifter there, President of the Inter-American Dialogue.
Thank you.